Lovely. Oh, wow. Hello and welcome to my Big Fat Gypsy Benefits Title Debate live. My name is Anna Richardson and I am here today with our esteemed panel. Ben Frau, Director of Programming, Channel 5. We have Fiona O'Sullivan, Executive Producer, True North Productions. Steve Regan, VP of Production and Development, MTV. Simon Scholes, Deputy Director, Planning and Research, ITV, and of course Liam Humphreys, Head of Factual Entertainment, Channel 4. Can you just put your hands up for me if you are a broadcaster? I know that there's one here already. Couple of broadcasters, for 3 broadcasters, brilliant. Hands up if you are development teams or producers. Brilliant. And can you just let me know if you're anybody else? There's a couple of intruders. Amazing. Okay, today we're going to be dissecting the importance of a great title, which of course is the bread and butter for all development teams and the thing that we constantly try and strive to get right. A great title can often reflect a brilliant series and vice versa. So, for example, what makes Towie so memorable? Is Gogglebox better than its working title? We'll find out later. And also, what the hell could a show called The Man with the 10 Stone Testicles actually be about? A little bit of mystery there. But more importantly, and very excitingly for this session, Steve from MTV is giving away £5,000 development money for the person...
It's going to be really brilliant.
Exactly. So for the person who comes up with the best title today, it's got to be a good title.
Yeah, I'm not just going to give it away for sympathy. It's going to be given away if the title's absolutely right for us, yeah.
Okay, so a brilliant idea today. It's our opportunity. I'm almost tempted, actually, to sort of take part in this myself, but our opportunity to win £5,000 for a great title. So, just out of interest, what sort of thing are you looking for?
I think X on the Beach is a brilliant title, and it sounds like it should be on MTV. It's going to be like attention-seeking. I like the fact that when you hear it as well, you might smile. I don't want it to be too flippant. I've been pitched lots of titles that are quite dirty. I've had blowjobs about people working on wind farms. Don't want anything like that. That's too
so you don't
flippant.
want smut?
I don't want smut. I think X on the Beach was just the right kind of tone for us.
Out of interest, what is X on the Beach about?
X is turning up on a beach.
What? So literally, that's it. So your ex.
That is it.
Oh my God!
That's all that happens every episode, and it's brilliant.
Okay, fantastic. We'll be reading out the best later on. Just to let you know, it's completely anonymous, so don't freak out if you're, worried about putting forward absolutely crap titles. We're not going to sort of name and shame you, apart from you, Johnny Mina. So, if you haven't done it already, open the Edinburgh TV app. Have you all done this? Do you know what I'm talking about? If I mention... Yes? Yep, okay. If you haven't done it, open the Edinburgh TV app on your phone, find this session, enter your title. No synopsis needed at all. Enter as many times as you want. You don't have to listen necessarily to what these guys are saying. You've got 40 minutes to do this, to submit your best ideas, and we will be awarding, hopefully, £5,000 later. So think funny, think punny to a certain extent.
Yeah. Yeah.
Think controversial, do you think?
Don't mind a bit of controversy, no.
Okay, but don't think smut.
Yeah, just for the sake of it.
Having said that, your producer's given me one here, which is quiz on my face. Right. So, smut, definitely.
You know what, I really like that.
Do you?
That's really good.
I've got quiz.
That's brilliant.
Where is Craig? Yeah. You haven't already pitched this to your boss? Quiz on my face. Amazing. Fantastic.
I think we found the winner.
And also, win my twin.
Oh, that's brilliant, yeah.
Okay, so let's start this session with the most obvious question. And Liam, unfortunately, I'm going to go straight to you. How important do you think is a good title?
They're not important at all. I'm joking.
Literally just gave me a heart attack. Okay.
Stating it being the obvious, it feels, but they're everything. I think you could, as a commissioner or program maker, you could have the best concept in the world, you could have a beautifully made program, but without a brilliant title, you've lost the chance to connect with an audience, basically. It's so much harder without one. And I mean, we're all going to have our different point of view on it today. I think from Channel 4's point of view, they're incredibly important in a way that's not only commercial, because we're a commercially funded broadcaster, obviously, but we also a public service broadcaster. So a brilliant title won't just put bums on seats. It also allows us to speak to a young audience in an attention-grabbing way about difficult social issues. So, for example, we can look at disability through the undateables rather than, for example, disabled and looking for love, or we can look at benefits debate through Benefit Street rather than, for example, what's it like to be poor. So I think in terms of our remit, it's really, really important to have a brilliant title to make really difficult subjects accessible to a mass audience.
That's quite interesting, because you're saying that The Undateables was for you a better title than Disabled and Looking for Love.
Well, without a shadow of a doubt, yeah. I mean,
so I just thought Disabled and Looking for Love was quite good, but for a Channel 4 title, you're saying it's got to be a little bit quirkier than that, it's got to be a bit more accessible.
Well, as I said, it's kind of two things we need to do. One is to make a programme about certain issues. The other thing is to reach a mass audience. And Disabled and Looking for Love, in one respect, it's all subjective. I put, my cred on that getting probably about 900,000.
Right.
Whereas if you pick the lightning rod for debate, which is The Undateables, and actually suck people in to witness that debate, we've got 4 million people actually engaging with disability and Down syndrome, for example. So I think it's a kind of, it's a kind of necessary evil sometimes.
Okay. And so, Ben, as far as you're concerned, particularly at 5, what constitutes a great title for you?
A programme that rates. I mean, if it doesn't rate, it's obviously the wrong title. So it's all, I think in retrospect, it's all very well to go, oh, it's a really great title, we've got a great title. Obviously, you do the best you can. For me, it would be about, it needs to punch through, it needs to tell people kind of what it is and what they're going to get. It needs to give an expectation of the emotional feeling that people are going to feel when they're watching it, whether it's funny or moving or frightening or interesting or serious or whatever. And we do work very hard on titles, but the truth of the matter is, until the ratings come through the next day, you can think it's the best title in the whole wide world. If people don't watch it, my first thing is, we got the title wrong.
Oh, really?
Well, I think it would be the first thing. It's something about it didn't connect, because, in this world of EPGs and everything, that is actually where people mostly find their programmes. Got 34 characters in which to make a connection. We change titles notoriously a lot, because until you actually see what Channel 4 are doing or the BBC are doing, you kind of go... I mean, a really good example of that is Animal Hoarders, which, perfectly fine film and everything, and then suddenly it's up against really tough competition on a Monday night at 9. I'm going, Animal Hoarders is never going to punch through. Let me look at the DVD. The opening line was something like, Meet Mary, she's got 40 cats. I said, call it The Woman with 40 Cats. It was our second highest rating documentary of last year, because, seeing a woman with 40 cats is much more exciting than seeing Animal Hoarders, which is fine. But if it hadn't rated, I'd kind of go, you know what, I got it wrong, I got the connection wrong, it didn't resonate with the viewer. So I think it's great to say Gogglebox is a great title, but if Gogglebox was, an embarrassment and had tanked, I reckon one of the questions would be, damn, well, maybe we shouldn't have called it Gogglebox, maybe we should have called it something else, because it's the first port of call for getting people into
it's like an advertising scheme almost. I think it's like copywriting. So it's about finding a phrase or a sentence which sells your product in the most immediate, accessible way. It really is a copywriting skill.
Absolutely. I mean, I saw you sort of nodding your head there, Simon. What do you feel about the importance of a title?
It's just thinking about the communication mix, everything that a marketing department actually has in terms of trying to sell a show in. And you realise in terms of how few programmes can actually be supported with promotion. It's very restricted. You can't do everything. So it does mean that title is so important in terms of trying to actually make that connection with the audience. What do they understand about the words that are used? What does the combination of those words actually mean? We work with a guy who's a consumer psychologist, and it's really interesting in terms of getting his response. And he refers to it as title reflex, in terms of what sort of traction actually gets in the right part of the brain.
I mean, I look at the title that I think is really terrible at the moment is Tumble on BBC One, and I just think, how the hell did they call it Tumble? It's 6 o'clock Saturday night, it should be all jazz hands, and it's just like, Tumble. It's just like, why am I... That's where I do look at other channels, really easy to slag other channels off, isn't it? But I just look at that and go, how on earth did that get through?
Does anybody else feel the same way, that Tumble obviously, if you work on
I
Tumble...
like the programme.
But does anybody else feel the same way, that Tumble's possibly a weak title, doesn't really say... I see a man nodding there, yes? Yeah, OK.
But I think if Tumble was getting 11 million, we'd be going, shit, I wish I thought of Tumble.
Yes.
So one word, it tells you exactly what they're going to do some tumbling.
So it's slightly chicken
The
and
fact
egg,
that it's
isn't it?
got 3.3 million, it's got a little smell of kind of neither nor. And then you kind of, and quite rightly, you're kind of going, Tumble's it's not strong, it's not good enough.
But it should be like, if it was on ITV, like, what my favourite title ever is I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. I know it's really old, but actually that's a brilliant title. It's entertainment. It sounded really weird when you first heard it, but you just kind of, it sounded potentially terrible as well. I think it's brilliant. And it just was that on the EPG, you've just got to kind of watch.
You're absolutely right, because there was a debate within ITV at the time. I remember in terms of people saying, well, should that person have actually been able to have a view? But I remember it got to the highest level in the business where somebody was saying, what is this programme about? And the fact is that the title was as zany as the idea itself. Perfect.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
So, Fiona, do you think there's anything, such a thing as a bad title as far as you're concerned?
I think when you're in development, a bad title is a title that the commissioner doesn't like, because your idea will die. And I'm in title wars with Steve at the moment over a particular idea. And then I think, I agree with Ben, when it gets to the EPG, it's a title that viewers don't watch, and then you blame it on the title. I think some titles, I think Gogglebox is a great show. I don't think it's the title that does it. I think One Born Every Minute probably is more the title, because you think, oh, I'm tuning into a phenomenon as opposed to I'm tuning into a hospital. So I think there is kind of shades of, that's definitely a better title than that. But I think most of it is a bit retrospective. When it's a hit show, you think it's a great title.
OK, well, thank you. Well, I'm going to keep encouraging you throughout this discussion to keep using your app and submit your ideas, please. Remember that there is £5,000 of development money to win, which God knows if you run development is hard enough to come by. So please do keep coming up with ideas. So if we've sort of analysed a little bit about, potentially what makes a good title, how important is a good title. What about the process of making a title and how it goes from that development brainwave to the television wave, essentially? So who should be responsible for the title in the first place? Is it the development team, or ultimately is it the commissioner?
I totally think it should be the development team. You do sometimes come up with them, but I think you're paying them, they need to come up with a great title.
I think it's both, isn't it? I think as a development producer, you've got to come up with a title that works for that commissioner. And there's no such thing as a good title. There's a good title for a particular channel and a particular commissioner. And you know the show better, but they know their audience better. So it's definitely going to be a bit of both, but you can't be lazy about it. You've got to put the work in, like Steve says, that's what you're paid for. You've got to do the graft.
I agree with you, because I think it works very well at ITV. Sometimes we have people who are just particularly good on the commissioning side in terms of titles. Joe Clinton-Davies is brilliant in terms of that side. And what's been really interesting in terms of when you actually think about specific talent and how they would actually work across different subject areas. I'm thinking in terms of what we've done recently with Trevor McDonald, in terms of what he's actually done in terms of Death Row, Women Behind Bars, and a new programme coming out in terms of the Mafia. And it was the work in terms of understanding what would come first, the name of the talent first or the subject area. And it was different combinations that we used across these three programmes. And that came from having really good discussions with the production company, them knowing in terms of what would actually work best, but also having a Joe there as well. So I think it's a matter of actually having everyone to play their part and working as a team to come up with the best solution.
Can we just talk a little bit, Simon, about your word cloud at ITV? This is a whole new, terminology for me in terms of your research and marketing department. What does it actually mean?
No, word clouds is just something lots of people actually use it now. It's trying to understand information. And it's just one of a range of different methods that you can use to try to understand what is important in terms of what someone is actually putting down as a word. So, for example, when we did some work initially in terms of back in 2010 on Long Lost Family, and what was really interesting, we had a great pitch that had actually come from wall to wall, and there were a whole range of things that we understood about the programme. but what was very telling was the connection that the audience was actually making with those 3 words and what it actually meant to them. And the whole blend that the words, in terms of their construct, but in terms of how appropriate they actually felt for an ITV audience was really good. So immediately we didn't have to worry about working titles, what would be right. We knew it was immediately getting that connection. There were other things that were important. And that came from understanding in terms of what people actually felt. So we ask a lot of questions that we refer to them as open-ended questions, in terms of trying to get inside the heads of the audience. What do you mean by this? And it's my job to make that bridge between you as the producers and what the audience feel. And what I was able to do in that instance was bring that together so people knew in terms of what the audience was saying about the idea, but also in terms of the words that were being proposed within the title.
So you said earlier on that you work with a psychologist on your team. So what sort of information is he giving you and ITV in terms of what the audience actually wants, or how to get into the minds of the audience?
Well, sometimes there can be the worst approach is where people say, look, I've got 7 titles. Oh, no, I've got 12 titles now. And it builds up the great raft of a list. And you get the battery method in terms of now, which one is the best? It just doesn't work. You've got to be so much more subtle than that. So, for example, in terms of a few years ago, we had a real question in terms of a book that was going to be translated into a new ITV2 drama. It was Belle de Jour. And what was very interesting is that we were able to understand what that actually meant to people. And it was nothing. We had to come up with alternatives. And that worked out in terms of coming up with a new title. And at that time, we came up with The Secret Diary of a Call Girl. And what was very interesting is that was before, it's 7 years ago now, and that was before the use of the word secret was so prominent in terms of programme titles. And it was only because this guy, Phil Graves, knew that what that actually meant in terms of title reflex and what influence that would actually have in terms of the audience. So it's those little connections there that are true.
Can you generalise in terms of what audience feedback you've had about what they are actually looking for in terms of titles?
Not really, no. I think every situation is different. And you can't bottle it. It's rather like in terms of every project has a separate challenge in terms of getting that point of communication right.
And how much do commissioners actually listen to the research and the marketing? I mean, Liam, did Channel 4 sort of, listen to this stuff, or do you sort of go, whatever?
I think I'm quite an instinctive commissioner, so I think I normally, as I said, titles are incredibly important, and at a point of commission, I will normally try and have 1 or 2 in my head that I'm very passionate about and I'm confident will work. I mean, I agree about the long list. Once I know that I've got a long list and I'm sending it through to research or to Jay and we're going to press that we're in trouble, I think it's so important to crack it as early as you can. I think it does production a favour as well. People are much more focused when you know what the title is, because we're all working towards the same execution. If we're not quite sure what it could be, I think that the idea actually lacks a bit of focus and can be quite vague. So I think it helps the whole process. But there have been times when we don't do that kind of research, but there have been times when I've had that long list actually, and we've sent it out for audience opinion, and it's actually come back and it's reinforced what my original feeling was. Like, for example, The Island, we were going to call it The Island of Lost Blokes, so I was getting a bit worried about that. We put it out, it came back, let's call it The Island, which I was a bit... It was better, I was slightly dubious about it now, but I'm really glad I listened to that research, and what happened with Kavos again was something which, the long list, and actually something good came out of it, which I hadn't necessarily spotted. So occasionally, if as a last resort, yes, we will use it.
So which, I mean, we've got 3 commissioners here, and obviously Simon as well, you kind of like span that too. How instinctive are you? How much do you rely on your gut feel? I mean, Liam said actually I'm a really instinctive commissioner. Ben, are you?
Well, we don't have any research. We don't have anybody to throw titles out. I mean, I go out and go to the team. Hands up. Yeah, hands up. Anybody got a better idea for X, Y, and Z? I don't know who came up with... we had Car Thief and Proud, the schedule a couple of weeks ago, and we decided it wasn't that strong, because actually they weren't thieving cars. Oh, they were thieving cars. And I said, let's call it Joyrider and Proud. And they said, well, actually, they're not Joyriders. I'm going, oh, yeah, but maybe there's one Joyrider, we can get away with it. No, there's no Joyriders. Damn it, what can we do? And somebody came up with, I've got no idea, Grand Theft Auto UK. And I said, oh, my God, that's a brilliant title. End of discussion.
Right.
I mean, I haven't got a panel of people I can go to except the team outside and go, anybody got a good idea for blah, blah, blah. And we usually wait till the last minute because we want to see what everybody else is doing, and you want to see how it needs to sit alongside what the competition is across the other channels. Do you need it to sound a bit funny or a bit edgy or a bit shocking or a bit, whatever. So the positioning of it, that was a slot where we really wanted to target young men. So we knew, Grand Theft Auto UK was just perfect for that.
Because I was going to say I wouldn't watch Grand Theft Auto
No,
UK.
but it was all, I can't remember what was on all the other channels, it's probably up against Bake Off or something like that. But that's it really. I mean, I think you can, well, we haven't got time to spend that much time thinking about it, we just got to make a decision and get on with the next thing, frankly.
Okay. We have got around 25 minutes to go until we potentially give away £5,000 for an absolutely fantastic title. I will not be offended if you keep looking at your phone and you're tapping away. We really need some great ideas to come through and some great titles. That's the whole point of this sort of brainstorming session. Okay, so we know where titles come from. We've talked a little bit about, whether they are instinctive, who's responsible for them, is it the commissioner, is it the producer? The thing we also know is they're entirely subjective with channels, and something that Steve will love, Liam will hate, and that can be very, very difficult for development teams. So what do you have to bear in mind? I mean, Ben, if I come back to you, what do you have to bear in mind when getting the title right for your specific commission?
We're clearly getting it wrong, because there's not one bloody title from Channel 5 on my big fat Gypsy benefit title debate live thing. There's not one Channel 5 title.
I could see you looking down there, looking very distracted.
No, like on these blue ones.
I've got a pen, you can always just write it on up there.
How did that? Shocking. Sorry, what was the question? I just wanted to check, because I've just gone around that twice. There's not one Channel 5 programme.
Do you need a pen?
No, I need to know who came up with that bloody awful graphic. It's a non-representative.
How much do you have to really be thinking about the channel and the commission? I mean, particularly you, because everybody knows in development that it's going to Ben, it's got to have a fucking good title.
It doesn't have to have a good title when it comes to me. It's a good idea. I've famously commissioned on the title alone. Somebody can walk in and go, I'm thinking Blinging Up Baby, I'll go, I'll take it. And then I say to Emma, I liked him, I liked the title Blinging Up Baby, have a chat, see if it's got legs, I need to find out whether it was just, maybe I fancied him or whatever it was, and it works that way. But it seemed like a pretty much of a no-brainer to me. I knew what it was, I kind of knew what I was going to get, I got what I thought I was going to get, no problem. So it can happen very quickly, or we work on an idea that we really like, and then we agonise about titles, and you've got a great show, and you change the title 3 or 4 times. I mean, there's almost a line in the budget now, which is Ben's title change budget, which is because I will change the title. But I will change the title when I see what it's going to play up against, whether it's going to be a 9 o'clock or a 10 o'clock, what the competition's going to be, and how I have to reposition that programme to do the very best it can possibly do against the competition.
So how up to the wire do you go then?
We go up to listings. And
Really?
you know what? And we will be in listings, and then Craig will go out and he will do the listings, and he'll come in the next one going, you know what, I think we need to look at that title again. I'm going, you know what, I think you're right. What else can we come up with? What else could... I mean, I said this morning in my session, I don't mind failure as long as I know I've given it the very best I can do. What I can't bear is when I compromised on that extra 5%. You know what, let's just leave it. Let's not worry about that promo. And then it doesn't work. I am fucking raging, excuse my language, sorry. That makes me cross. So as long as I know that we've really done our best to think about it. We've had Countdown to Murder recently. It launched. We had to pull the original episode because of a legal issue. We put in a replacement episode. It didn't have a promo. It didn't do that well for us. We thought, maybe Countdown to Murder's over. Maybe we need to change the title. The poor production company have been changing the graphics, not changing the graphics. Going back to the original graphics. I've changed all the titles of the programmes. I've rebranded the series. I've gone right back to the original. Because the second episode did well. So we're going, Countdown to Murder is such a brilliant title. We're really happy with that show now. It's like, whoa. I'm confused. The poor independent company is even more confused. The budget's gone through the roof on, changing the thing. But, but I've just got to feel and believe that we're doing everything we can do to give it the very best shot possible, because I want a show that works for me. The production company want a show that works for them so they can get another series. The salespeople want a show that works so that they can sell the advertising. We all want the same thing. It's about going that extra mile to do the very best you can do to get it right, in your opinion. In your view, I've got it as right as I can possibly get it.
And how does that affect the production company? Because presumably...
Drives them crazy.
Yeah, they're having to sort of, change titles and, present a cue cards and bringing talent back in to do the VO and everything. Yeah. So you literally take it right up to the wire.
I take it right up to the wire.
Liam,
but I will also do, we've done things like we've played old programmes, changed the title, and still got 1.5 million on its 4th repeat. Completely new title, new voiceover. Benefits Britain was a 4-part series. that I had on Benefits and Proud from last year. And it was actually somebody in the office's idea, and they said, you know what, why don't we just extend, we're getting 2.5 million, why don't we just extend the series? Let's play Benefits and Proud again. I said, we've already played it 3 times. I know, but we'll just put on the old voice, we'll put on the new voiceover, call it Benefits Britain. Nobody will know, still got 1.5 million. Way above Scottish average. And then we did it with another one the following week. So our 4-part series became a 6-part series. It was a bit like an update, we used to call them in, Property Ladder Update or Grand Designs Revisited or whatever it was. It was kind of...
So Benefits Revisited.
It's dog eat dog out there when it comes to benefits.
Steve, is there a strategy when it comes to MTV? Is there a strategy in terms of
I'm with Liam on that. I prefer to have that title ready because I think it totally affects editorial. And in fact, me and Fiona made a show last year together that flopped really badly. And part of the reason, they made a great show, part of it was the title. It's called Beauty School Cop-Out. So who's going to watch a show called that? It was so wrong on so many levels.
What was the idea?
Oh, God, I don't...
Well, actually, the show was called Beauty School Dropouts for a long time. And it was about, wannabe beauticians who were a bit hapless. And then we had a legal problem with Beauty School Dropouts. Not that it would have necessarily been any better.
Actually, it was our fault, because actually it started off as a really good format. We meddled with it, basically took out everything.
It was going to be an elimination process, which justified the dropouts.
Yeah.
Then we had a legal issue with Beauty School Dropouts anyway. So then we went into a kind of research mode, didn't we?
Yeah.
It was nearly called Buff for a while. I don't know whether Buff would have been any better. But it is a classic case of when the show doesn't rate, you kind of think, oh, it was the title,
But do any of you take that personally? If a show doesn't rate, and it's a title you've really pushed for, as a commissioner or as a programme maker, do you end up sort of thinking, oh, God, that's my fault, I got that wrong?
Yeah, the title's very personal, if you really believe in it. I think, I agree with saying that sparks a certain part of your mind. I think the best titles are quite visceral, aren't they? So it will be quite a personal choice. And I do think if, occasionally you do really back a project and you really back a title doesn't work, then yeah, of course, that hurts, definitely.
Oh, it's all Liam.
I know, but people tell me about it. It hasn't yet to happen.
Anybody else take it
I
personally?
think sometimes people can be reflective as well in terms of what you do commission within a genre. Particularly in terms, I think of ITV in terms of drama, we've got quite a lot of names within our titles, and also places, in terms of Broadchurch and all of these things, which is fine, but it does get you to reflect sometimes. And I was thinking in terms of the strength of the BBC, and in terms of something they had as a real hit across the summer in terms of Happy Valley, watching that programme, seeing the actual drama unfold, and realising that, that's actually struck up a very different emotion with the audience, and it made certainly us reflect in terms of what we possibly could think about in terms of...
I always find that dramas have the most boring titles, like The Wire. I love the programme, but I think it's a terrible title.
Why?
Just 'cause it doesn't say anything. But it's like The Fall. I had no idea why it was called The Fall till about a month ago. It's because
Why is it called The Fall?
It's because it's set, there's this place in Belfast.
Oh, Falls Road.
The Falls Road.
Oh, right.
And I just thought it drama. Drama's
I didn't
never
know why
that.
it was called The
Yeah.
Fall.
I was going to say, do you think that's specific to that genre, to drama, actually?
Drama's always a bit boring, isn't it?
Yeah.
They're never that exciting.
But actually, I think The Fall or The Wire has a tension about it. I think The Island is a great title. We couldn't get away with calling something The Island. The Island to me, and somebody says, oh, it's a bit of a flat title. I love the title The Island. It's like the island takes control. It's like what is in the island. It's like the island becomes this living part of it. I think it was I never watched the programme because I was so jealous of it. But I think as a title, it was a brilliant, because it gave you an expectation of tension and fear and struggle and darkness and everything. And I think The Wire is tension and thin and narrow. And
the Bear Grylls, I think, was quite an important thing on the island for me, actually. I think
The
that
Island with
added...
Bear Grylls,
yeah, the Bear Grylls, the island, rather than just the island. For me, that was what the tuning for it was.
You got more of an idea of what was going to be happening.
Definitely,
I think going back to the, do you take it personally, one of the really difficult things with titles is that it's really difficult for commissioners to give proper feedback on what they don't like it because they just don't like it. So you're suggesting a title, it's like, no.
Yes.
And it's very hard to improve it because it's just, it's either a yes or a no. 50 no's later, you're thinking, fuck, I've got a good title left in me, So it is a very difficult process because it's so black and white, they either like it or they don't.
I think that's a really good point. I mean, as a developer, I get that a frustration can be that you've got a really great idea, and if you slightly attach the wrong title, it can immediately put a commissioner off, and then you sort of find yourself trying to convince a commissioner this is a really great idea, but you've fucked it up on the title alone.
Well, I was in this sizzle session earlier, and they were saying that sometimes, you know, going in with a sizzle, it means that you've already committed to the angle of the show rather than getting the commissioner to buy in and then going away and getting something on tape. And I think titles are very similar, and I think a lot of commissioners, it's about being involved in the idea and then seeing what they particularly see in that idea and then thinking about the title from there. Or you might have a title in your head, but if the conversation goes a different way, you don't mention the title. I think I would never actually go in and say, I've got a great title, because it's just a bit too clever.
Yes, you had. You were sending me texts all last week from holiday going, I've got
You know, but that's about a show we're already developing.
It's the best title. No, it's not.
That's about...
Fiona has got a really brilliant idea in with us, and it's a really fantastic game show, quite twisted, but the title isn't right, is it?
We haven't cracked the title.
You may
So if there's any brilliant title generators here, then please do get in touch.
And
We've
time
gone
is ticking.
through hundreds of titles.
We have only got about 20 minutes left, so please do keep those ideas coming in, and particularly for Fiona, because she's desperate to actually have the title to her game, a twisted game show. Let's have a look at some specific titles. So what titles on your channel, on Channel 4, are you particularly proud of, Liam?
I think on a channel basis...
Don't just say your own.
Two spring to mind which aren't mine. I think both of them are very Ron-Seal, but they exactly describe the subject matter, but they go beyond that. They create an incredible sense of anticipation and a need to watch. And one is The King in the Car Park, and the other's The Boy Whose Skin Fell Off, which is, I think, both of them absolute masterstrokes.
Yeah.
And they just took a subject which had been called by any other name, I think would have got, you know, a third to half of the audience.
Yeah, no, they are really fantastic examples, aren't they, of, you know, things that you feel compelled to watch.
Yeah, and then I must say my personal bit as well.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, I think I'm very proud of the Undatables. I think it was a provocative lightning rod which worked, and it was, you know, I think it was brave of the channel to back it. But it's what, you know, I said, brought the subject to life, and also I think at my department, Undercover Boss, because it's not PSB, but it's very simple, but it just denotes that something unusual is going to happen in this precinct. So I think it's a very commercial but brilliant title.
Yeah, absolutely. And Simon, what about you at ITV?
Well, I think it's quite interesting in terms of when you've got titles that do have longevity. I mean, we've been discussing, and quite a lot of the shows that we've mentioned are actually one-offs or they're maybe shorter series. But I think something in terms of when it can stand the test of time is amazing. And I think of something like Loose Women in terms of actually having that sort of zeitgeist feeling at the moment, but having that continuity over time. Likewise, in terms of Coronation Street, in terms of what we're trying to do at ITV is be at the heart of popular culture. But when we've got something there that I know when I talk to people up and down their front rooms across the UK and what that programme actually means to them, I realised that we've got it exactly right and what Tony Warren actually meant in terms of coming to that title in the first place.
God, I mean, so you really do get that feedback from people saying, I really, really resonate with that show.
It's when it's as if the window opens and people start saying, they start talking about the programme, but they start thinking in terms of the memories that they actually had and when they actually watched it with their families.
Wow.
And it's through the voice of the title itself when that starts.
That's extraordinary. And Steve, how about for you?
I mean, I think X on the Beach is absolutely brilliant, but it's also really severe. I love Catfish as well because it's the complete, not my commission, which it was, but I think Catfish is really good because it's just so odd. You kind of don't know what it means, but you see it on the EPG. Some people say it's like a terrible title, but I love the fact that it's so kind of strange. I still don't quite understand it, even though I've gone to watch the films, but those are the two that I love the most. I love Geordie Shore, and we actually commissioned Geordie Shore because it rhymed. That's how we thought it rhymed the best.
Yeah.
We were looking at Mersey Shore, we just thought, let's do Geordie Shore, it sounds like Jersey Shore.
Yeah. And Fiona, what about you?
Are these titles that you're...
That you particularly think are particularly resonant of a channel?
Of ones I've worked on, or just any? I don't know, I developed a daytime property show called May the Best House Win, you know, very gentle daytimey title, not gonna, you know, blow your mind, but it worked for the slot it was in. I really like The Valleys because it's one of the few shows that actually, it was quite brave because you had to look at it to find out what it was. It isn't a Ron-Seal title, but once you'd seen it once, it was like, oh my God, it is The Valleys.
But also as well, because we had the hills, and the valleys was nothing like the hills.
Yeah.
But we quite liked that little tie-ins, didn't we?
We sort of felt that if it caught on at all, it had soapy kind of connotations
Yeah.
with the hills. But you did have to kind of, and there was a real wobble about the title, The Valleys, as it
considered
approached
getting
transmission.
Fiona to call it, I can't believe this. I didn't want to call it this. Am I allowed to say that? Taffy?
Yeah.
Taffy
so, yeah.
Shore. They nearly were going to try and make us call the
Yeah.
programme Taffy
But
Shore.
also it was like we were coming up with thousands of different titles. It was called The Valleys right from the beginning for a year, and then suddenly it was like, no, we can't call it The Valleys, and there was thousands of titles floating around, and it was like, oh my God, just call it The Valleys, please call it The Valleys, and they did. So, which you fought really hard for, Steve, didn't you?
And so, apart from The Island, Ben, are there any other titles that you absolutely wish you'd got for 5?
No, I don't wish I got the title, I wish I got the bloody programme. No, there's very little I'd want from another channel, but I think there's some great titles out there. I think Strictly Come Dancing is a great title. I think X Factor's a pretty good title. I think there are lots of good titles. I mean, The King of the Car Park's a great title. I mean, anything that makes you want to watch it is anything that makes you go, oh, that sounds good. I wonder what that is. Oh, maybe I should watch that. Golly, must make a date with 9 o'clock on Friday or whatever it is, because that sounds good, is a good title. And I think you have to work very hard nowadays in order to get the viewers to stand up. I mean, one of the first things I did when I came to Channel 5 was to brand Big Brother. So it didn't just be Big Brother anymore. I don't think you could expect people after 13 years to just tune in on June or whatever it is and just invest in another series of Big Brother. So I decided that we should brand it, and we called the first series Secrets and Lies. And we had our best summer of Big Brother ever on Channel 5, and I think that really helped. This year we did Power Trip, less successfully so, also very much tougher competition. I think it was a harder title, and I'm not sure we got it completely right. But I like the idea of branding Big Brother just because it gives people an expectation of what they might be getting, and therefore, please God, some people who are maybe lapsed viewers or have never really invested in Big Brother, because we've got a whole new generation to please now, might tune into it. So I think we're all agreed titles are very important, but I think any title that makes you go, that sounds good, or that looks interesting, or I might give that a watch, that's a good title.
There's one title I absolutely wish we'd been pitched, that's 50 Ways to Kill Your Mammy. That new Sky show, I think that title is amazing. That's the one show that I wish somebody had come in.
I was just going to ask each of you, actually, the best title that you have heard of either on TV at the moment or in the last 10 years. Ben?
I can't answer that question because I actually...
Just too many?
Craig mentioned it to me a week ago and I still can't think of one.
Really?
I mean, there are so many. I don't have one title that There are hundreds of titles I love.
Fiona, can you pluck one?
Well, there's I don't know if it's more than 10 years ago, but I love Don't Forget Your Toothbrush because it's, really fun and, just thought it was really, really good. And I love Secret Millionaire, Don't Tell the Bride. They've kind of... Don't Tell the Bride is just fun, isn't it? And the show is really fun.
And Steve, apart from I'm a Celebrity?
I love Dating in the Dark, Beauty and the Geek. Oh God, what's the other one? 50 Ways to Kill Your Mammy, I think so. I love An Idiot Abroad as well. I think An Idiot Abroad's a great title. One Born Every Minute, that kind of stuff, yeah.
Dynamo, Magician Impossible.
Yes, that's brilliant.
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier on, and that's a fantastic title and fantastic series. Yeah. So, Simon, what about for you? Particularly resonant titles?
It goes back further than that, to be honest. But I think of things that have really got me to think about television. And I remember in my teens, I was watching this drama from the States, and I hadn't really watched very much drama in the past. And it was called Roots. It was such an amazing piece of television, but also that specific title. And that sort of got me interested in that whole passage of history as well. I think something like that, and when that stays with you, because 30 years later, that's pretty amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, that's extraordinary. And Liam, how about for you?
I think I'm with Ben. I found it very hard to dislocate the actual show from the title, just for sentimental nostalgia reasons. I'll say Match of the Day, but...
Why
Actually,
not?
I will put Upstairs, Downstairs.
Yes.
That's what I'll pick. That's a great title.
Can't we do more ones that we don't like?
So I want to hear, what don't you like?
Oh, another one I think is really terrible is This Old Thing, the Vintage Clothes Show.
Why?
I don't mind the programme actually. A title, it's that long. Who wants to watch something
I
called
love
this?
long titles. So it's the man who likes, I'm a celebrity, get me out of here now.
No, it's like
a title that's that long.
This whole thing isn't long.
This old thing. It's like, it doesn't make you want to...
I've got a really short title, which, I mean, I love the show. It's my favourite comedies of the past year, but W1A, I guess, what are they thinking? I mean, it's like the most...
Yeah.
It's a brilliant comedy which needs to be shared with the nation, not made exclusive to the point that, no, it's not for you. It's really... Maybe there's a logic behind it, but I'd be interested to know what it was. I just don't get it at all.
Did anybody else feel that W1A, amazing series, but just didn't get it with the title?
Well, it did. It was just too London-centric. It just alienated everybody outside, or who doesn't understand the BBC.
Jana was talking about 7 Days as well. I think Liam saying no, they should have called it like Notting Hill. Like 7 Days wasn't a good title either for quite an interesting show, I think.
I think sometimes you'll get a title that just won't have had enough consideration about the audience. I think of that in terms of something that will ostracise the audience. It may do well initially. Something like Cougar Town, which I just don't think was very clever in terms of how well
I was just talking to Ben earlier about Hens Behaving Badly, which we made for Channel 5. And to begin with, when we came up with the title, it was rejected. So the working title for a long time was Hen Nights. But then Hens Behaving Badly did become the title. And it is quite a good title. Ben was saying he kind of quite likes it. But we got totally slated on Twitter because the hens weren't behaving that badly. So if you kind of, you know, the show has to deliver on the title as well.
Absolutely, that's a very good point.
We had some very mild-mannered hens.
I think we are maybe forgetting the fact that, you know, with social media, that the audience hit back now, don't they, when they feel they've been somehow cheated.
Yeah, really, like, I mean, How to Look Good Naked, it's a great title, but it was really irksome that nobody was naked for the first three series, and they were sort of just in their underwear and kind of, you know, like this. Yeah. So you have to deliver.
Okay, we have got probably around sort of 8 minutes left before we announce our winner. All Ideas obviously originally started with a working title. So just for a little bit of fun, I want to just throw some ideas out to you to see whether you can guess what the show became after the working title. So a little bit of pressure here for everybody. This is obvious. Carl Pilkington's 7 Wonders of the World became?
Idiot Abroad.
Correct. Talk About TV.
Gogglebox.
You all know this. I didn't know that. So yeah, Gogglebox. The Maternity Ward.
One every minute. Okay. I don't think we have to have a degree to answer these questions.
I know.
It's like they're really pretty fucking simple.
All right. I so didn't get Talk About TV. I was like, what's that? All right. What about this then? Baggy trousers, Ben.
What?
Baggy trousers. What did it become?
Yeah, spoke too soon. I've never no idea.
The In-Betweeners. You see, thought they were going to be
baggy
easy.
trousers a sexual expression?
Is it?
Is it?
I'm
asking you.
Why you asking? I have got baggy trousers. I have no
I was
idea.
wondering, is it kind of what those kind of boys would say to each other? I've got baggy trousers. Does that mean?
It's a Madness song about school days.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
Okay. Second Chance Summer.
Oh, X on the Beach.
Thank you. That would have been a tragedy if you got that one wrong. Newly Meds.
Newly what?
Young doctors.
Newly Meds.
Young doctors, junior doctors.
You've so seen these cards, Fiona.
No, I haven't. I just...
Okay, The Golden Cage became... Yeah, well done. And thank God they didn't keep it with The Golden Cage. Classmates. Yeah, Educating Essex. And then, of course, Yorkshire. And The Island of Lost Boys.
The Island.
with Bear Grylls.
Island of Lost Blokes.
Is that what it was?
Yeah. Okay, that's a great
so
title.
yeah, that's a better title. The Island of Lost Blokes.
That's a great title.
Anything in there that actually surprised you guys in terms? I mean, baggy trousers.
I don't know what it means.
No,
I was wondering if there was something I was missing because I'm quite old and maybe it was a sort of term that in-betweeny kind of people use to each other. I've got baggy trousers or...
So what were you saying, Liam, that the baggy trousers is just an oblique reference to...
Like I said, I don't know this as fact, but it was a Madness song about school days, so I'm sure it was taken from that.
Yeah.
But...
Shows the dance.
Again. Are there any words, zeitgeisty words at the moment that you guys are getting pitched all the time?
Secret.
Secret. Okay, so sick of secret.
Well, I think the viewers are pretty sick of secret because actually there's not really very many secrets in there, really, are there?
I get loads of ideas with OMG in it. And I know that BBC, that loads of them, and then I think BBC Three have just commissioned, is it called something Zombie OMG? But I get tons of ideas of OMG in it.
Oh my God.
So no more OMG,
Yeah.
just in case you have put that on the app. Any titles that, particularly with the ones we just talked about, that had the title never changed, the fate of the show would have been affected. So again, I'm thinking perhaps Gogglebox or, you know, The Island of Lost Blokes. Would it have affected the overall content?
I think Gogglebox definitely. I mean, it was called Watch with Britain. I think was the actual correct working title.
Yeah, it was Watch. Yes,
which
okay.
is even worse. I mean, it's they're both Watch with Britain and Gogglebox both denote kind of 1960s black and white England in a way, but one of them's a lot more. One of them's got a sense of humour and a bit of playfulness about it. The other one sounds very dry and a bit like homework. So a bit like kind of Look Around You, you know, if you remember that. But I think, yeah, I mean, definitely would have changed its fortunes.
And so why did
I'm not saying, I mean, I agree. I'm not saying Gogglebox is a brilliant title actually, but in terms of its first series, I mean, it was scheduled at 10 o'clock, but it took a long time for people to find it. I'm sure that's because of the title, but it's a weird anomaly because now that people love it, I think the title actually is a part of that. So it didn't. It was a bit exclusive to begin with, but now it's part of the furniture of the series.
You know, you commission Gogglebox, you play it at 10 o'clock, it does, 1.6 million, which is sort of all right. But you clearly, and rightly so as a channel, believed in it. And the genius was actually, the schedule change was putting it at 9 o'clock on a Friday, when it's the one night in the week when everyone goes, you know, it's Friday night, veg out on the sofa, pizza, beer, just sit and watch the telly, don't want anything that's going to make me work too hard. I mean, that was actually the genius thing, and that's when it suddenly became a 3 million show.
Yeah.
I think if you'd called it, you know, Watching Telly with Britain or whatever it was called, it would have still done as well, because it just tapped into something, and we'd all be going, you know, oh, Watch Telly with Britain, what a brilliant title that is. I don't think Gogglebox made the show. What made the show was it was just such a clever, simple idea of tapping into what we're talking about and what we're watching and relating to people's front rooms and how they behave.
And so new.
And so new and so simple,
Yeah.
which is so brilliant. I actually don't think the title has become part of the myth in a way, but it's just a fucking good idea.
Yeah.
Well
I think
executed
idea is
and
still
brilliantly
more important
scheduled.
than title.
Yeah.
So what was that?
Idea is still more important than title.
Absolutely.
Yeah, ultimately.
The concept has to be right.
Of
yeah.
course. And ideas is why we're here today, and titles is why we are here today, and the chance to win £5,000 development money. So it is that time that you have been waiting for, where we pick one winner from all your suggestions. Now, here's how it's going to work. I'm going to read out names suggested by you, or titles suggested by you, the audience, and I want the panellists' first reactions, okay? Once we've gone through that list, the panellists must make a short list of just 4. And then, with the help of the panel and you guys in the audience, Steve is hopefully going to pick...
Listen to anybody.
Oh, well, yeah, it's mine. Okay, so our first suggestion. I've got a little bit of a note here. Anna, this is super quick fire. Try and get through them all fast. Right, okay. Will do, Craig. Right. The end is NYE.
No.
All the wrong moves.
No.
None direction, NUN.
What was that?
None direction.
No.
Don't judge a bloke by his mother.
Oh, that's good.
That's funny. Like,
Okay, don't
That's
judge a bloke by
really
his
good.
mother.
Yeah, that's
Trick
really-
or cheat.
No.
Flip-flop philanderers.
What was that last one?
Flip-flop philanderers.
No.
50 Shades of Gay. We've all pitched that
Brilliant.
one. Yes?
That's really good.
Okay,
yeah.
50 Shades of Gay. Baking Bad.
No.
Ben, you literally
No,
look
this is still out
comatose.
of my area. I'm just listening to the master here.
Okay. This is a good one. Nursery Crimes.
No.
Oh, that is genius.
Nursery crime.
Wouldn't harm a flyboy.
No.
Abandoned by my children.
That's brilliant, but not for us.
That's 5, surely. Nobody puts baby in the coroners.
That is brilliant.
Seriously?
That's brilliant.
Nobody puts baby in the coroners.
You can never make it, but it's a brilliant title, yeah.
East End Fashion Twins.
Oh, God, no.
The Call Girl Centre.
That's very good, but no.
I'll put 5k on that one.
Yeah, exactly. iPhony.
I what?
iPhony.
I don't even understand that.
So Phoney. Breaking up bad.
Oh, no.
Force quit.
No.
Secret wives of others.
No.
Yes. Britain's chain store massacre. Frankie goes to Bollywood. My big bad dad.
No.
Dress the drag.
No.
I can't believe I'm not better. That's just how we all feel. Wacky racists. Exchanged.
No.
All-star ping pong ding dong.
No.
Jumbo debts. Very good.
No.
The X-ray.
No.
Beauty versus the Beast.
No.
A date with misfortune.
Oh, no.
From here to maternity. Is that not already a format?
Yeah, it's been done. Yeah.
Ryland the bitch in his wardrobe.
Ryland the bitch in his wardrobe. That's good.
That's really
Ryland the
good.
bitch in
That's
his
really
wardrobe.
good. So we've got three that are...
Okay, so Ryland the bitch in his wardrobe
That's really
is a good one. Counterfeities.
Sorry?
Counterfeities.
No.
Love me Tinder.
All right, put on the short list.
You ain't half hot, mum.
I like that one.
Yes,
Yeah.
that is a good one.
I've probably got that show.
Maybe it's our age. Hound in the pound.
No.
Balti Towers.
No.
Mini millionaires.
No.
Party moustache. Strange. Resurrection live. Excess blaggage.
No.
Fashion twins. Had a bit of a cyber never.
What?
I don't even understand that one. Been inside her.
No.
Game of whoever
Oh,
I will personally congratulate whoever came up with
I know
this.
it is.
Game of pheromones. Brilliant.
No.
The end is beer.
No.
Love and let die.
What?
Love and let die.
No.
The kids are all bright. Good. Snakes on a crane. Oh, this is quite good as well. Tinderella.
No.
Till stag do us part.
No.
Jailhouse frocks.
That's really good, actually. What's that? Jailhouse Frocks.
Jailhouse frocks, yeah.
I like that.
Out on the piste.
No.
Okay. A whole yacht of love.
No. How many more have we got? We've got time.
I know there is. Do you feel that we've got 4? But I feel obliged to sort of,
Okay.
A lot of people have been, okay, a whole yacht of love, no?
No.
Once bitten, twice rabid. Oh, that's a great one. Okay, my brother or my lover? This is a good one. Grand designs.
No.
Oh, I like it.
Gram.
Grand designs.
Oh, like grannies. Oh. That'd be funny.
The Great British Fake Off.
No.
Too posh to push. I thought that was a series as well. Mid-knife crisis. From prude to rude. The dead can't sue. The day the mistress moved in. Selfies ruined my life. Twerking 9 to 5. That's a good one. Oh, genius. The House of Itchy People.
Ooh.
The Expandables.
I like House of Itchy People.
You like the House of Itchy People?
Yeah.
Okay. And then The Thin Betweeners.
No.
No? Up the Injunction. Oh my God, there's loads. Okay. 80 gays around the world.
Ooh. We've got a better gay idea actually at the moment.
Have you?
So
No,
say
Fiona's like, no.
No.
Okay. Scabby Scarbs, what's that?
No.
Naked in Norfolk.
No.
Flubberinas.
No.
This is brilliant. Why do we bother with Bolton? Is that somebody from Manchester? Okay. The selfie that killed me. Oh, this is quite... Girls just want to have guns. Not bad. All right. Well, look, why don't we say you liked there? I mean, there's
50 Shades
absolutely...
of Gay. What was the first one, that dating show?
Hang on.
My brother or my... don't judge a bloke by his mother?
Yes, Don't Judge a Bloke by Its Mother.
Don't judge a bloke by his mother.
Yeah.
Craig, can you just remember this? So don't judge a bloke by his mother.
Oh, right.
Ryland, the bitch, and his wardrobe. Don't judge a bloke by his mother. Okay, we need 2 more. Oh, yes.
Oh, you heard that one?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you ain't half hot mum. Okay, you ain't half hot mum, and then it's between The House of Itchy People or Love Me Tinder. Have we? Don't judge a bloke by his mother. Ryland the bitch in his wardrobe. You ain't half hot mum.
50 Shades of Gay, yeah.
You want 50 Shades of Gay
Feel really under
or
pressure
Love
now.
Me Tinder or The House of Itchy People?
The thing is, the one I like the most is probably going to be the most difficult one.
The House of Itchy People?
No,
Or the
I'm
Ryland, the Witches.
going to go for Ryland.
Oh, right. Oh,
Yeah.
hang on. The House of Itchy People. Just before you make a decision, I'm going to throw it out to the rest of the panel. Out of, I know you guys are not MTV, but out of Don't Judge a Bloke by His Mother, Ryland the bitch in his wardrobe, You Ain't Half Hot Mum, and The House of Itchy People, what would you go for?
Okay.
House of Itchy People is one I'll probably watch.
You'd watch The House of Itchy People,
probably would,
Simon.
I think the audience would have the biggest reaction to the Ryland one.
With who?
To the Ryland one. Ben.
I'd go for Don't Judge a Bloke by His Mother.
Ah.
Somebody pitched me the Ryland one. I turned it down.
Fiona?
So whoever it is, well done. You
Oh, really?
You might be getting £5,000 for a repitch.
I love Ryland, so I like that one for that reason. But I would be really intrigued to see what the House of Itchy People was.
Now I'm... Oh, hold on.
So I'm going to throw it out to the audience. Out of those 4 titles, which do you guys prefer? So if I want a show of hands, Don't Judge a Bloke by His Mother. Oh.
I think we've got a better mum's idea at the moment, so that's why I'm not going for that one.
Okay, but that is very, very popular. Ryland the bitch in his wardrobe.
Oh,
Just the
God.
people that came up with it in the middle. You Ain't Half Hot Mum. Oh, God. And The House of Itchy People. Ah, okay, so it's actually, it's
People a
between
second.
Don't Judge a Bloke by His Mother and The
I've
House of
changed
Itchy
my mind.
People.
The House of Itchy People.
You're saying The House of Itchy
Yeah.
People. All right.
Yeah. They can have the £5,000.
Hang on.
Is that an embarrassing medical condition? What is it?
I don't know, but I'm
Well,
sure we can work it
Got to
out.
work out what the show is now.
I was just going to say, let's just analyse. So you're leaning towards The House of Itchy
Yeah.
People.
Because even though we don't know what it is, that can be a series. And you
What?
could also
How can it be a series?
sorry.
How can it be a series?
We don't know what it is, but it could be a
Because it'd be
series
like a
and it
reality
could be
show.
franchised.
Yeah, we can work with that one, yeah.
Okay.
And if they're not itchy, we'll just make them itchy.
Oh, they'll have some form
Yes.
of kind of...
It is embarrassing bodies that's been made.
Yeah, it's also a House of Agrophobics, which has been
No.
made.
It's OCD cleaners or it's...
Yeah.
So you're
Yeah.
standing by The House of Itchy
Yeah.
People for now. All right, I'm going to throw it back to you guys. If you look at your app, then the 4 contenders basically will be on your app. Can you please vote for the one that you prefer? And it will appear on the screen shortly. And this may sway you, Steve. So it's Don't Judge a Bloke by His Mother, The House of Itchy People, Ryland the bitch in his wardrobe.
See them.
Oh, we've gone to settings. Somebody's frantically putting in a 5 title on that.
Too late. Too late. The damage is done.
Absolutely, I'm
Damage
with
is
you.
done. It's got BBC 4 on there. It's got a load of digi channels on there. There's not one programme from Channel 5. The damage is done. Don't expect to see me here next year.
Oh, so there it is. Is that it?
Yeah, there it is.
Okay, so has everybody voted? Craig, should we be getting up the answer from our audience?
God, I could have made the programme by now.
I'm not going to change my mind.
Are you not?
No.
I'm very interested to hear actually what you guys have voted for. If the technology works.
I don't think it's ever worked about the festival.
No? Okay, well look, just from...
I think that technology is overrated.
Oh wow, check that out. Okay, so 47% of you have gone for Don't Judge a Bloke by His Mother. And then the House of Itchy People coming in second. Fantastic. Ryan and the Bitch in His Wardrobe, and You Ain't Half Hupman. So, you're still going to go with the House of Itchy People. Can whoever came up with that genius title please stand up? I sense there's a connection here.
Believe that.
Do you guys know each other?
Yeah, really well.
Fantastic. Listen.
But we didn't talk about it, I promise you. That looks a bit dodgy now, doesn't it?
Have you just made $2.5 grand?
Yeah, exactly. What? So, can you just tell me a little bit about what the House of Itchy People could be?
It doesn't matter.
Well, to be fair, when brainstorm with the team, so I'm Claire Hollywood from Victory Television. When we had an insightful brainstorm about this, somebody mentioned STDs, not me, and that's when we came up with the House of Itchy People.
Congratulations, Claire Hollywood. That is
But I suspect we probably won't be making a House of STDs. Or maybe we
I think
will.
we already make it.
Well done. Congratulations. And can you just stay behind afterwards, if that's okay, and for a thorough checkup? And also, we'll just refer you to Craig, the producer, as well. So, have we got time for... No? We're at the end of the session. All right, fantastic. Thank you so much, everybody, for attending this session and for coming up with some, frankly, hilarious titles. And well done for the House of Itchy People. Thank you, and thank you to our panellists, Ben, Fiona, Steve, Simon and Liam.